Okay, just saw this pop up on my feed. Blue Protocol's back, officially back. Am I getting clickbaited here? You know, we saw that it wasn't going to happen. The game was getting shut down in JP. There was going to be no global release. But let's see what this video is. It's from MMO Boy. Obviously, we know Sticks. Let's check it out.
Pointed with the announcement that Bandai Namco made concerning Blue Protocol.
I was, because for all the issues the game looked like it had in regards to traversal and just some other stuff, the game just looked really cool, man. I really wanted to play it.
They were shutting the game down before it ever released globally. However, things might not be as dire as we originally thought, as Tencent have confirmed that they are releasing a version of Blue Protocol that is also launching on PC, and that might be closer to a global release.
Blue Protocol Star Resonance. What did I say? Is this going to be like the mobile version of it then? What did I say? I wouldn't have been surprised if Tencent picked up Blue Protocol. Be interesting to see if this actually resonates with people, if they do pick up Blue Protocol as an IP altogether and just, like, you know, relaunch the game, go on another launch, go on a global launch altogether and try and see if they can make it work potentially.
Than Bandai Namco and Amazon Game Studios was. I hope you're ready. Now, if this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the little bell notification, that way you remain up to date with every single thing that I post, and I post daily. Do not miss out. The Blue Protocol database posted an article on their Twitter, everything we know about Blue Protocol Star Resonance, which is the new title for the game. It is developed by Shanghai.
Oh wait, so is this Blue Protocol just under a new title? It is Blue Protocol, or is this a different version of Blue Protocol? Because there's confirmation of a PC and mobile version, so it's. Wait a minute, I'm confused. Is this the same game?
Okuda Network. It is funded partly by Tencent. They have undergone 3 different test phases. They have gathered all of the available information and compiled a breakdown for all of you. We're gonna go through all that. Let's begin with the general and technical details. The game is labeled as an MMORPG and will be playable on PC and mobile devices.
Okay.
Now, I know a lot of people are gonna look at that and be like, oh no, so Blue Protocol is coming out on mobile. Yeah, this is the only way Blue Protocol is going to successfully survive. I
don't know if that's necessarily the truth, but there is I can't really give a good argument as to why not, because it depends on the game itself and how successful it is. It's a hard place to get into the MMO spaces, definitely. It is quite niche nowadays, and when you're going up against Final Fantasy XIV, World of Warcraft, and Guild Wars, they're like the big dogs. Not having a mobile client is making you directly their competition, and it's going to be quite hard to break their monopoly on the space. But I think people in the MMO space are desperate to get a new game to sink their teeth into. The worry for a lot of those guys is when they see it on mobile as well, they're going to be like, yeah, not for me. But hopefully it becomes one of those games where it just happens to be on mobile. It's not a Taris Land where it's like, okay, this is just a mobile game through and through, and it's trash.
Gargantuan success of games like Wuthering Waves, Zenless Zone Zero, Genshin Impact, and even Tower of Fantasy for a while, it is evident that cross-platform functionality.
True, that's a point. Tower of Fantasy works. Don't get me wrong, the game is looking a little bit dated now, or it's definitely doesn't feel like a mobile game when you're playing it. Whereas something like Taris Land definitely felt like I was just playing a mobile port of a game, for sure.
Especially for MMOs, is imperative for their survival. I just hope that this is done better than Taris Land, because Taris Land, I stated in my official thoughts on the game, was a horrible PC MMO, but a very good mobile one. There's going to be a 1 character limit per account. That's kind of disappointing.
Yeah.
Ultra-wide support is confirmed. An additional beta test.
So 1 character per account. Are they going to allow you to purchase secondary characters, I guess? Because that does suck not being able to have... So I'm assuming then that you're not going to be limited to roles or archetypes. You're going to be able to potentially it's locked to weapons and stuff. I don't know.
Is confirmed. There's no ETA right now. The art style is very similar to the Japanese version, but the models have been adjusted and look similar to characters in other mobile games like Honkai Star Rail and Genshin Impact. I guess this is going to appeal to more people, given honestly the success of Hoyo's games.
Yeah, if it looks like Star Rail
or
looks like Genshin, I'm happy.
Functionality, just like going back
But
like 5
Blue
seconds. This is going to open the
Blue
game up
Protocol
to
look
infinitely
gorgeous.
more success. This will lead to potentially significantly higher revenue and then a chance at survival. The combat seems more fast-paced, similar to popular action combat mobile games, so this is good. I know there were some people that were concerned the action combat in Blue Protocol was too slow. The overall customization and costumes look better than their Japanese counterparts, so it's good to know that the game graphically looks better than the PC version did. Aim assist and one-click combos can be turned on and off. There are different soundtracks mixed with some from the original version. PC recommended specs are the same as the Japanese version, which indicates the graphics and visuals should be at least as good as the Japanese version.
An RTX 2070. How can, like, dude, what the hell? A game that's going to be on mobile as well. Recommended specs are a 2070. Now, don't get me wrong. I know we're in like the 40 series. That's the new cards nowadays. But holy hell, you're going to need an RTX 2070 as a recommended GPU to play a game that's going to run on a phone as well. So that makes me think that hopefully the PC version is going to have like PC settings, PC performance, PC specs. So that's positive in that regard, I guess.
Additional types of accessories were discovered, such as mouth accessories. You can switch between mobile and PC key bindings and layouts. That's very important. There's a leveling newbie guideline booking game which helps you progress and also rewards additional materials at certain milestones, which means you'll be forced to farm materials less, which I think is actually a good thing. There is an achievement system which kind of replaces the adventure boards. Some achievements reward you with unique costumes, which is great because the lack of costumes as rewards in the original version of the game was kind of sad. There's an auction.
Yeah, you've got to have some visual rewards in an MMO at the end of the day, whether it's attached to gear or you can just have like full-on costume switches. Yeah, man, you need that in an MMO. At the end of the day, that's the end game, isn't it? It's dressing up.
House items available for trade include weapons, equipment, battle echoes, the imagined materials, crafting
Kind of work
materials,
like a
enhanced
transmog
materials,
system, I
and
guess.
costumes. This is a fantastic alteration. I think it's great that you can now trade weapons. The main trading currency is Luno, which is the in-game currency. You can also trade it for found rose orbs, which are the premium currency listed by other players. Each player has an adventure card ID similar to the Japanese version. You can preview costumes. You can dye your costumes and customize certain character appearances using a color wheel. The color wheel has hex code. It's unknown if you can edit the hex code manually. However, you can use a color wheel freely via the mouse and finger. This is great. They are evidently...
Hey, one thing I'm seeing there right away that pleases me, PC goes up to 120 FPS. Let's go.
Delving very deeply into the customization aspect of the game. PC goes up to 120 FPS, mobile goes up to 60. Some quests reward you with cosmetic items. Camera mode includes a selfie mode option. There is a language setting in the options. Foods provide non-stackable buffs or healing effects. Some clothing and accessories can be crafted, requiring energy, corresponding materials, and blueprints. There's a dancing option at the teleport point in the main city square. Items of higher quality than gold exist. Red, level 5, but not yet implemented. Okay, so the most important thing here that was not addressed is the ability to hold hands. That was something that I know even Asmongold was excited for. Disappointed that it wasn't noted. Gacha and premium details. In the original version of Blue Protocol...
Okay, so it's going to have a gacha element. Okay, all right, okay. I'm intrigued.
Gacha was for costumes.
Okay.
It seems as though Gacha's going to focus on
100
costumes
pull
here
pitting.
too. With a pity at 100 pulls. There are 4 different rarities with a top rarity containing certain costumes. Certain battle pass levels...
Wait, it doesn't say certain costumes. Top rarity containing costumes. So there's 4 different type of rarities. Focus on costumes. What's the like? Will ones be like parts of costumes? And then one will contain the top star will contain a full costume, is it?
Also reward you with energy potions. Energy is used for crafting and is replenished naturally. I don't like that.
Yeah. Not a fan of energy systems when it comes to crafting. I don't like that in MMOs. At the end of the day, I think it's a sucky system. It's taking something that's a part of that game and removing it. Not a fan of that. If you're going to have an energy system in the game, have it tied to some sort of runs that you can do for currency or mats or something. If you want to have that in the game, but don't attach it to crafting.
Each season pass has different seasonal achievements as a replacement for the adventure board system, which reset at the start of a new season. Each season pass has a free and paid version. This is natural for cross-platform games and for mobile games. Rewards and titles are given based on the progress of achievements. Title ranks can be displayed through badges. Badges can be enhanced, and enhancing them improves player stats and grants specific buffs. Enhanced materials are provided when advancing title ranks or can be purchased in the Season Pass shop. Enhancing badges consumes enhancement materials and season points.
Okay.
Guild details. I guess this is important. Not that we as MMO players ever really participate in guild content.
We're getting a lot of information here. Yeah, I'm one of those people. I just guilds. What's a guild, bro? No, not for me.
They have been given a facelift, hosting completely new content which never existed in the Japanese version. The Chinese version seems to have your very own guild housing area, a shared warehouse, multiple other areas, each with specific functions for guild members to collectively grow together. That is fantastic. So honestly, what it seems like, what it feels like is the Chinese version is implementing a significant number of changes to the game that are improving it overall. I'm just hoping the mobile functionality doesn't like hold it back from really shining. Reputation and PC.
That's the big worry, isn't it, really? You know, for me, that's one of the major things that I think holds Wuthering Waves back in regards to certain content that could come to the game that I just think might never come to the game because they want to make it work on mobile also. But hopefully that happens potentially as mobile phones get better and better. That sort of content can come down the line. Yeah, there's always that worry that like the mobile version is going to hold the game back. It's kind of like the console ecosystem, isn't it? When a game's cross-platform, you worry that you're not going to get the maximum out of the game because it's designed to work on the older system as well. And of course, you're always going to get the options on the newer version or on PC, but the overall design ethos in terms of the enemies, the amount of enemies, the way the content's built up, it's just going to be held back in general by the weaker system, isn't it?
PCs reward you with upgrade materials amongst other things, increasing reputation by donating materials. There are training dummies, Fountain of Blessing grants buffs for guild members, weekly guild activities, a kitchen area for cooking. The guild hall features an aquarium.
Hey, I always wanted that sort of stuff in my MMOs, cooking, give me some fishing, give me all that sort of tropey stuff. I'm here for it.
Members can place their caught fish. So there's still going to be a fishing feature in game. There are guild vendors. You can customize large picture frames on the walls inside your guild house with screenshots taken in game. There's a shared warehouse. The guild emblem can be customized. Guild member count seems to start with a cap of 40 players. In-game voice chat for guilds is available but can be disabled. Character progression and gear. I think this is going to be kind of important because progression was very grindy from what I heard. There are 11 elements when it comes to gearing. 4 armor slots, head, chest, gloves, boots, an earring, necklace, 2 bracelets, a talisman, a ring, and a weapon. Armor and weapons cannot be crafted. They're obtained as drops or through other means or rewards. So
what, like content, dungeons, raids, world bosses, whatever content you want to insert there, and potentially some kind of gacha system as well might be related with the weapons. I hope not. And if it is, it's more, I don't know, actually. I don't know. Yeah, it could get messy, couldn't it, though?
Well, in the original Blue Protocol, you could only obtain your weapons through crafting. You farmed materials they would use to craft your weapon via dungeons, bosses. Then you would go back and manually craft your weapon. There was no other way to obtain weapons, to my knowledge. That is being completely altered here. Now, weapons and armor cannot be crafted and are only obtained as drops, just like your traditional MMOs. You can equip an item similar to a...
It's just the other means of rewards that worries me a little bit. I'm hoping that it's just going to be another way to get it through gameplay, hopefully. But yeah, just that little addition to the sentence there is a little bit like, okay, wait a minute, what's that about?
Ability stones in Lost Ark. The stones have multiple nodes in each affix, and they're based on rarity. The attributes on the ability stones are RNG, and they can include both positive and negative effects. That sounds terrible. Gear and weapons are only obtainable through dungeons and not available in the cash shop. That sounds both good and bad. You cannot infinitely farm dungeons. They have daily entry limits. I hate that.
Gear and weapons are only attainable through dungeons and not available in the cash shop. I think it's good that they're not in the cash shop unless you're going to be able to get like its weapon skins and stuff. I'm okay with that.
I love how WoW and Final Fantasy 14 do as many as you want. I hate limitations being
especially in MMOs. It's one thing, I'm not a massive fan of it in gachas, but like that it's there. But in an MMO, I hate the idea of like, right, dude, that's it today. Come back tomorrow. It's like, in an MMO? Really? In an MMO?
Posed on how many times I can run average content in an MMO. Enhanced echoes have been removed. Instead, you have different types of gear acting as your armor, similar to other MMOs. Battle echoes have a strengthening system where consuming duplicates guarantee an enhancement. You have to use materials to upgrade your skills. Defeating failed bosses reward you with skill and talent upgrade materials, and gear can be enhanced using duplicates. Seems to function similarly to class details. Are they still going to have all the available classes from the Japanese version? There's 7 classes available.
Oh, so there is going to be classes.
Build. There is the
See, I'm thinking with only having one character per count, it was going to be classless, and maybe it was going to be attached to the weapons. You know, kind of like a New World in that sense, that you can be whatever you want depending on what you've got equipped. So I'm guessing you are going to be able to have multiple characters. You're just going to have to spend for the slot, aren't you?
Qinglong Knight, which is a spear user, the Iglis, which is a healer using magic rings, the Ice Mage, which is a DPS using an ice staff, the God Hunter, which is the bow user, which is a DPS, the Aegis Knight, which is the DPS using a sword and shield, the Nikana, which uses a Tachi weapon and is also DPS, and the Great Blade Guard.
So lots of lots of DPSs. So you got lots of variety in your DPS, but not much, well, no variety in your tank. I went to scroll up there like I was actually on Twitter, or your mage, which kind of is a shame.
Guardian, which is the tank using a Great Blade. So I like the fact that they altered Amazon's terrible renaming translation of the classes, but God, some of these are still terrible. Qinglong Knight, Ice Mage, God Hunter, what are they thinking? You can level up individual skills, upgrades are guaranteed as long as you have the materials. Some materials are obtained through gear dismantling. Some materials can also be purchased from the cash shop. That seems a little bit paid away, just a little bit. Each class has a talent tree separate from the skill tree. These talents have 3 tiers of depth. According to some testers, a talent tree available to each class branches out at least 2 different paths at some point. Based on the talent UI, each class might have 3 different talent trees to choose from, aka subclasses. Players now have jump and gliding skills, each with their own skill tree. So kind of a little bit like Genshin Impact. There are 3 fixed skills based on your class, 3 flexible skill slots that you can slot from any skill in your class tree, and 2 activatable Battle Echo Imagine slots. Each class has its very own trial based on its role. These seem to be solo trials similar to adventure rank ups from the Japanese version. That's actually good because I kind of enjoyed that. Each class has a fixed element assigned to it, which could mean that the elemental system may be less complex compared to the Japanese version. And character level remains the same, but class talent level needs to be leveled individually. Now here is content and dungeon details. Seems to have content similar to the Japanese version, which provides you with glory coins and medals. You can exchange them for costumes and other rewards. The looking for group posts can be listed similarly to the Japanese version. Dungeons have 2 difficulties, basic and hard. Basic mode dungeons can be completed solo or with multiple players, but higher difficulties require at least 3 players to enter. I don't think that was the same as the Japanese version, and the Japanese version also allowed for you to solo all content, not just solo content, but also had dungeon scale with the amount of people that entered with you. Hard mode
I like that sort of stuff.
Hard and extreme versions of certain dungeons. In hard mode dungeons, players can choose specific buff affixes similar to Mythic Pluses in World of Warcraft, provided they have the corresponding affix item. When entering a dungeon solo, players are assigned 3 AI teammates. There you go. That's the future of MMOs right there. Not only cross-platform, but also...
It's kind of Final Fantasy does a similar thing, doesn't it, really? I think it's for people who are like, yeah, man, I'm just not feeling playing with people.
AI party members. Dungeons seem to have 2 modes, basic and hard. Hard mode split into 2 additional modes. In some difficulties, achieving certain scores grants additional rewards. A 1v1v1v1 4-player obstacle foot race game mode has been confirmed. Race other players to the finish line, dodging oncoming attacks, status ailments, or weather effects.
I'd like something like that in Wuthering Waves, actually.
To emerge victorious. So that's an interesting type of PvP mode, which, again, also, PvP was not present in the Japanese version. I wonder if it will be in the Chinese version. There are 20-player raids, which require at least 12 players to enter. Boss monsters in dungeons have actual patterns. Some upcoming special patterns are indicated by timer or visual cues. I hope they're more interactive and engaging than Terrace Lands. Bosses still seem to have something similar to an elemental and stagger gauge. Dungeon boss.
If not, then this game's an L on launch, because at the end of the day, that's the lowest of the low bar for me, is Terrace Land. If you're not getting above that, I'm not interested.
Boss mechanics are more complex compared to the Japanese version. This is good to see. Dungeons have optional additional tasks you can complete for extra rewards. Dodging certain enemy attacks have iframes, perfect dodges. Okay. Combat UI seems to be way better and less bloated. Good to hear. Talent tree branching is confirmed. The same
UI is, especially in these sort of games, is definitely important. Sorry. Getting rid of the bloat. It's too much stuff on screen in an MMO is annoying.
Classes can have different talents and skill builds. It's also good to hear. There are raid bosses. They have a contribution meter similar to a DPS meter. This is going to cause a lot of toxicity in game. Dungeons have additional loot for which players roll a dice. The winner gets the loot. That's going to cause a lot of friction.
of you getting roasted, bro. You're not doing enough. Well, that happens anyway, but still, you got a visual representation of it now. You fucking suck as a DPS, bro.
Between team members, overworld zone details. There are reduced loading screens, fantastic. I'm glad that it's going to be more open. Zones that were originally broken up by loading screens have been opened up by unlocking.
Yeah, this was one of the main questions a lot of people had, and I was disappointed to hear that. I didn't know that right away about the way the zones worked. It felt very compartmentalized, and there was a lot of loading screens to get around, which I understand some loading screens here and there. I'm cool with that, you know, when you're traveling to different zones, but I want to be able to, you know, go between areas without feeling like I'm on playing Starfield, you know?
Vista points, cool. The overworld zones feature multiple jump and parkour glide puzzles and quests with a quiz-like system. Cool. Okay, so they're including more things to do out in the world. Monster drops, gathering, and fishing materials can be used for cooking, which requires energy. Energy replenishes over time. I hate stamina in games. It's a terrible.
I'm not a big fan of stamina in games, full stop. Like, I'd easily lose them in gacha games, you know, just straight up standard gacha games. But when you put this sort of stuff into an MMO as well, it's just, oh, it's pain, bro. It's pain. It just doesn't suit the genre in my eyes. It just sucks to have it in the game. Even worse in an MMO.
Inclusion. Energy potions can be bought in a guild shop. Fishing is possible in the open world. There are chests in the open world that can be unlocked by completing mini games similar to Genshin. Wall running and terrain scaling is possible, so you can run up walls. Okay, yeah, so just like Wuthering Waves, you can climb mountains, scale terrain. Yeah, this is very Genshin and Wuthering Waves inspired, 100%.
Nothing wrong with that.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I think these are actually huge for the game. The gliding and sprinting is...
Yeah, I think if you're going to have an open world, man, give me better ways to get around. You know, tech from games, I'm fine with that. Wuthering Waves is a really good way about it. Genshin does a decent way about it. You know, Tower of Fantasy is good as well. Throw all that in. Let me get around the world really easy. Make it a nice place to be and easy to get about.
Skills need to be obtained at specific points on the map. And these skills have a duration. What the fuck? That sounds ridiculous. After expiration...
What was that? The gliding and sprinting skills need to be obtained at specific points on the map, and these skills have a duration. 30... Wait, what? After expiration, players must revisit the corresponding points to reacquire them. Yeah, that's not... that'll change. I'm pretty sure that'll change. So you can have those skills, and I guess it's to try and get you to why though? What benefit does that give you? All right, we need you to go out back to this point now to get that skill back, unless they're going to allow you to purchase that, or it comes part of like some sort of battle pass, or they're like, hey, you don't have to do that busy work now. That's the only thing I can think of, because that's just really stupid.
Players must revisit the corresponding points to reacquire them. What? Fishing and cooking. The fishing skill is proficiency level. I hate fishing in games, man.
Bro, I love it.
Fishing rods may break. Chance of damage varies depending on the quality. You need to purchase bait, which varies in quality.
I don't know if I want my fishing rod to break, though.
Mechanism where players can rank the size of their fish. There's a research mechanism where you can study caught fish. Higher research levels make it easier to catch specific types of fish. A fishing log exists with different regions. The maps offering different. I mean, that's kind of cool if you like that. Some areas on the map and zone contain physical fish, which you can catch. Well, I don't know what that means. Like run into the water and like beat them with your fist into submission.
What are the other ones you're not able to catch? What's the deal with that?
Cooking is now a system. The quality of cooked products varies, which is RNG. It's disappointing. And there was a message to the Japanese players, and that is it. That is all the information right now that we have for the new version of Blue Protocol. Honestly, from what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, I like the sound of this. I think this could...
I think it's good, because we weren't getting the game. It was gone. It was done. I know this is not the game that we were getting, but it's... I guess it's as good as, I suppose. Some of these systems look like they're improvements. Again, didn't play the game, so I can't say that for a fact. Some of these systems, not a big fan of at all. Don't want to see them in the game, if I'm honest. Hopefully they'll change as well. Definitely that thing with your skills as well. Don't understand that at all. But stamina sucks. Having to have a stamina system attached to the crafting as well. Oh my God, please take that out of the game. If you're going to have the stamina system, attach it to something else, please. Not the crafting. Depending as well, it doesn't seem like you can craft weapons as well, so I don't know where the crafting is going to come in. Is it going to be for gear? I don't think that's the case. I'm not too sure, but yeah, just take that out of the game. But yeah, I guess even if it's not the game that we were going to get, although that game seemed to have a lot of problems, it might be better. Hopefully it is, or at least we're getting something that kind of guess, resembles that. I suppose the visuals are going to look a little bit different because it's saying it's going to look a little bit more like Genshin and Star Rail, which I'm totally cool with. But I love the way Blue Protocol looked. There was something about it, man. Every time I saw it, I was just like, I just really want to play this game. So yeah, hopefully things are good and we get some more information soon and we know when it's coming. How it's going to release. Is he going to get a global launch all at once? Is he going to get dropping CN first and then we see a global launch later down the line? I'll be interested to see. Hopefully if they do that, maybe there's an English version, a translation, at least we can maybe get onto the game even in China, maybe play with some lag and just enjoy the game until it comes out in global. Hopefully, I guess we'll see.
Could potentially be very cool, but at the same time, I think it also has the chance to be really bad. I think the mobile crossplay functionality could severely hinder the game if they don't.
It might be really good for the business, but I just don't think it's going to be great for the game, if I'm honest. I really don't. And did he say it was going to be crossplay? It's like, yeah.
Handle this correctly, but at the same time, I think all of these alterations to make this into a much better game overall are fantastic. I think judging this game purely because it's going to have a mobile version before actually playing it is a bad idea, and we should be
fair point. I'm still going to do a little bit of judging because of that, though. Just a little
as
bit.
Excited, if not even more excited, knowing it's going to open the game up to potentially several times larger of an audience. Hey you, where do you think you're?
All right then, so we might be getting Blue Protocol after all, or a version of Blue Protocol. Hey, W in my eyes. I guess we'll have to wait and see if the game's going to be good. Looks like there's some good ideas there. Looks like there's some not so great ideas there. But at the end of the day, we weren't getting Blue Protocol. So something that hopefully kind of gives me that sort of, well, scratch of the itch that I had. I'm happy about that. But yeah, guys, go check out Sticks on his MMO Bite channel.